Shanks says in the film Red trailer, "There is no peace or happiness in this world." That sounds pretty ominous for a guy that's supposed to be good. Now, I don't think Shanks is necessarily a bad guy, but he might be the final antagonist of One Piece. Shanks hasn't had a significant role in the story so far, so Oda must be saving him for something big soon. We've been getting hints of stuff that he's been doing over the years, like stealing the devil fruit that just so happens to be a god fruit, and he also has connections with the world government. In one of the Wano chapters, we learned that zone fruits have a will of their own, so it's possible that Shanks knew that and waited until the fruit chose someone to eat it. But in the end, the fruit chose Luffy, so Shanks just has to wait for the fruit to do whatever it's supposed to do. So he tells Luffy he'll just see him when he's a great pirate again later on. As I was looking for clips to put in the video, I noticed the devil fruit is just sitting there out in the open. And now that we know how special it is, I believe it is correct that zone fruits would have a will of their own, because there is no way they would have left the fruit out in the open. I'm sure this was pointed out when the chapter released about the will of the zone fruits, but in case you didn't notice, now you know. So I guess Roger said he was too early, and I guess Shanks learned what he has to do to get to the One Piece. From a story perspective, authors usually show the main antagonists in the beginning of the story, so this theory isn't impossible. Oda has been giving hints about Shanks over the years, and he's always been doing something suspicious. He seems to always know what's going on, more than he should in the world. Which tells me Shanks knows most things already. He already knew about Luffy's devil fruit, he has connections with the world government, and he might know what Blackbeard's up to, but what does it all mean? Shanks has Usopp's dad in his crew, so does that mean Usopp will have to fight his dad also? I don't know. It kind of makes sense. I'm sure Oda will get it in there somehow, but who knows? We haven't even seen Shanks fight yet, but we know he's strong since he's a Yonko, so I assume Oda is saving him later. I think he's saving him for the end of the story, aka the final fight. I believe Kaido was the one that said Haki is the strongest form of power, or something like that. I forget the exact quote. But Shanks is most likely the strongest Haki user we will see in the verse, meaning he would be above Blackbeard, assuming Kaido's words weren't lies. So far, we don't know if Roger had a devil fruit, but I feel like we would have heard of it if he did, so I assume he didn't. And he was the king of the pirates, so he must have had nothing but Haki and was the strongest, so Shanks could do the same. How I see it going is Shanks will maybe team up with Luffy to take down Blackbeard, and after they beat him, Shanks will reveal to Luffy that he needs the One Piece for something that Luffy wouldn't approve of, so they fight each other. Or Luffy and crew take down Blackbeard without Shanks, and we get another arc where we find out Shanks' plan and Luffy has to fight him. Something along those lines. Again, Shanks is not the bad guy, but an antagonist. The bad guy with good intentions kind of thing. I'm sure this is probably already a theory, but here's my version of it. My idea is that the One Piece somehow caused the Void Sentry, and the world government used it to gain power, and now Shanks wants to use it for something possibly the same thing. And the world government protects the Celestial Dragons because they are the ones that stopped the D-Clan from using the One Piece, but that's a vague idea I have so far. I'm sure this is also another theory, but I'm also just gonna say the D probably stands for Devil or Demon Clan. The D-Clan also could have made the Devil Fruits, since apparently you could make them, like the Smile Fruits. This is kind of unlikely, since I don't know how you explain the fruits coming back when the user dies, but it's Oda, he can kind of make anything make sense. I know a lot of people think it stands for Dawn, which is also a possibility, but I think Devil is a good parallel to the Celestial Dragons, who think they're gods, and devils are the enemy of gods, so that's what I'm thinking. This is probably another popular theory, since it's not that hard to think of. The fact that that line is in the trailer for the movie also makes it suspicious, but it could just be a throwaway line. If Shanks isn't the last fight, I don't know how he will factor into the story. Him joining Luffy and crew in the final fight would be really strong for them, so we'd have to see how Oda does this. I could have gone broad and just said Shanks is a bad guy, so I have a high chance of being right, But I want to take it another step further and say he's the final antagonist and final fight of the series. This was my first theory video to add to the pile of theory videos for One Piece, and it was fun to think about. I didn't want to go super in depth with it by going into every minor detail, but there are many Shanks bad guy theories out there that you can find that goes way deeper than I did, so I just wanted to get straight to the point.